After months of arguments, the O.J. Simpson trial is just about over.
We proved that he killed the two people, and they proved that Furman is a racist.
Before the case goes to the jury, a final word from attorneys for the people.
The evidence is there. You just have to find your way through the smoke.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting tonight from Boston. With Dan Rather.
Good evening. The defense tried to fire them up, and today lawyers for the people tried to calm them down. The jurors who will decide whether O.J. Simpson is guilty of the brutal murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. Jury deliberations begin Monday. Today, the prosecution's final arguments. Our coverage begins with Bill Whitaker in Los Angeles. Bill?
Dan, the prosecution played tag team today. Marcia Clark went toe-to-toe with Barry Scheck over the physical evidence and the science. Christopher Darden took on Johnny Cochran and tried to shift the focus off the police and put it back on O.J. Simpson.
Ask yourselves this when you're in the jury room.
Christopher Darden played temperate teacher to Johnny Cochran's passionate preacher, turning down the heat raised yesterday to a fevered pitch. And he called on the jury to deliberate not with passion, but reason.
Take that common sense God gave you, go back in the jury room. Don't let these people get you all riled up and all fired up because Furman is a racist. Racism blinds you.
He played 52 pickup, trying to restack the deck of race cards Cochran tossed around court yesterday. The sins of a racist like ex-detective Mark Furman, he suggested, don't wipe out the sins of O.J. Simpson.
If someone said, why did you acquit him? Would you say racism? Would you say it's because there's racism in the LAPD? It is true that Furman is racist. And it is also true that he killed these two people.
Cochran had quoted the Bible to the mostly black jury. Darden invoked the Constitution. It granted life and liberty to Ron Goldman and Nicole Simpson, he said, and O.J. Simpson.
It said he doesn't have the right to take those lives. He did not have the right to do what he did.
He said he refused to do like the defense and call his opponents liars, then proceeded to do just about that. What happened, he asked, to that bulging bag of luggage Simpson gave to his friends when he got back from Chicago, but which the defense brought to court empty?
This is the evidence. This bag is empty. There's nothing in this bag. There's nothing in this bag. Why bring this empty bag here to court to you?
And he asked, isn't it too convenient? The defense claims Simpson cut his hand on his cell phone and again in Chicago, his left hand.
That's the same hand that was left exposed during the commission of those murders because Ron Goldman pulled that glove off his hand.
Then for the final word to these jurors, Marcia Clark came back to try to tie up threads unraveled by the defense. She ridiculed their experts, their theories, their timeline.
That all of these arguments about the minutia make no sense when you look at the big picture.
Like those numerous DNA tests tying blood from the murder scene to Simpson. The defense says all the dozens of test swatches were contaminated and therefore can't be trusted.
All of the swatches for all of the drops completely degrading to the point where they're able to pick up contamination. It makes no sense. It's completely illogical. It stands science on its head.
And those much disputed socks in Simpson's bedroom.
There was no blood on the socks. That's what they're saying, right? Why would you plant a blank pair of socks and then go back 2 months later and say, I forgot I was supposed to plant blood on them. What have I been thinking? I got to go back and put the blood there. Does that make any sense to you at all? I mean, there's no logic to this. This defies common sense. You have to buy that story, or else the defendant is guilty.
Clark says she plans to conclude by playing for the jury those anguished 911 calls made by Nicole Brown Simpson, while at the same time showing pictures of a battered Nicole and pictures of the bodies of the murder victims. Clark says she hopes to end this long trial with a bang. Dan?
Bill Whitaker in Los Angeles, helping again.